Man, what is up, you guys? It's your boy Hollywood AJ here, back with another episode of the Keep It 100 YouTube channel. And we got a cold one out here today in the great city of Pueblo, Colorado. It is cold as shit. And for those of you that live here, know I am out here at the Union Depot. I decided to take a little road trip for this episode, mainly to talk about what is hot in Netflix, what is hot, what is the talk of town on Netflix. And that is The Night Stalker that released January 13th. So about 2 weeks ago, it released on Netflix, was #1 in the world for a bit. And it has definitely been in people's top 10s for a very long time now. My take on it, it's a good show, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't call it good because of how crazy Richard Ramirez was, but we'll get into that later. But my take on it is, okay, did we really have to know the backstory about the cops? Sure, they're the heroes. Sure, they've done a lot for that city of Los Angeles, but did we have to know the backstory? My only thing was, I thought we were going to hear a little bit more about Richard Ramirez, a little bit more about his childhood, his early adulthood, and I thought we were going to really know what made him the Night Stalker. But we really didn't hear that. We heard a lot of the cops' stories, what made the cops the high-end detectives that they were, and I didn't mind it, but I just thought we were going to get a little bit more of what made the Night Stalker the Night Stalker, and I am going to talk about that today in this episode. Now, for those who haven't seen it, I am not going to do that much spoilers. I'm going to let you check it out for yourself. All I have to say is it is a very dark documentary. It is 4 parts, takes place in the 1980s of Los Angeles, and for those who know me, I am a die-hard 80s fan. The 80s to me is the best decade ever. I was born in 2000, so I was definitely born in the wrong era since I love the 80s so much. Man, I'm putting my hood up. I hate the cold. You guys better give me some subscribers so I can start making money off of this YouTube stuff, so that way I can move to Miami or somewhere warm. But it is a 4-part docuseries based in 1980s Los Angeles. And for those who don't know, the 80s in Los Angeles was the talk of town. It was where everyone wanted to be in the 80s. From 1980 to 1989, you wanted to be in California for sure. Now, at the end of the day, we had a lot of, pretty big events happen in the 80s, especially in Los Angeles. You had the Olympics, you had all the Rockies come out. Everything about the 80s was just glamorous. And I'm gonna do an episode about the 80s and why it was the best decade ever very soon. But you also didn't see a crime done that often. You didn't see very heavy crime, and especially in the city of Los Angeles, you didn't see that many gruesome serial killers out there in that decade. I mean, you had the Hillside Strangler, which they do talk about in that documentary. That was in the late 70s, and even that, it kind of shattered the whole country and it rocked the whole city. But then you get into 84, 85. All of Richard Ramirez's crimes were from 1984 to 1985. And boy, was it eventful, was it wild. Many people didn't even know that he killed in 1984. He killed 2 old women. I'm not going to go into many details on how he killed those people or even all the people that he killed or harassed, but it is very gruesome, guys. It is very dark as well. He went after old people, young people, mainly middle-aged people. He went after kids. He went after women in their 70s, and he raped them as well. I mean, it is just very gruesome, all the stuff he did. I just can't believe that that was a crime committed back then in the 80s, where it was a time of glamour, glitz, and Hollywood. And many people also don't know he was into Satanism. Now, I'm a man of God, so I'm not going to go too much down this rabbit hole, but he was into Satanism, and the crimes he was committing, he would draw pentagrams on his crime scenes. He would leave a mark, basically. Was it for the cops? Was it for himself? Was it for everyone letting him know that he's doing this? Not many people knew. But he did pentagrams very Charles Manson-like. He didn't really say in any of his interviews that he was a fan of Charles Manson, but that's what it was very reminiscent to. And at the end of the day, it was just truly gruesome, guys. Being into Satanism and being into what he was in and going out and killing people, it was just dark and brutal. And it also showed, and I hate to say this, but it also showed how easy it was to kill someone back then. And here's the main reason why he killed someone or made it look easy to kill someone, was because back then, in the middle of the 80s, 1985 Los Angeles, where he was doing most of these crimes, They were going through a major heat wave. It was extremely hot, record temperatures at about 120, 117. It was very Death Valley-like. So many people in the Los Angeles County area would sleep with their windows open. They didn't have to worry about serial killers. They would just do everything they can to stay cool at that time. That is how he would get in. That's how he would kill someone. That's how he would rape someone. And that's how he would even hurt little kids. I mean, I have a daughter myself, and hearing all the stuff he did to kids, that definitely hit home for me. And I know everyone has a soft spot when it comes to kids getting abused like that as well. But he killed a lot of people mainly because he was a weirdo. Him being weird is an understatement. And I just couldn't believe crimes like that happen. It is extremely dark. It is extremely gruesome, the crimes he committed. And back then, no crimes were ever committed like that. So crimes of that proportion were unprecedented. Now, remember how I said I thought we were going to learn more about what made Richard Ramirez the Night Stalker? They talked a little bit about that, and that is where I'm going to answer the question of what made him the Night Stalker. And it comes down to he had a very messed up childhood. Very Jeffrey Dahmer-like. He was reprimanded. His father would leave him out overnight, tied up to a cemetery. His father would reprimand him. His father would leave him tied up to a cemetery cross. Ain't like that's not dark enough. And he would get abused at home. His uncle was in Vietnam, so his uncle would tell Richard Ramirez about the stuff that he would do, about the torture that would happen over in Vietnam. So basically his upbringing and everything that happened when he was a child created him into the serial killer that we know as a Night Stalker. As crazy as that sounds, he would go into a library, very grungy looking. His teeth were very stained. He had the odor of a goat. And for those who truly study Satanism, like I said, this is as far as I'm going to go on that topic, but that is what they say the devil smells like. And I'm not going to go any more into that because that's just plain dark and deep. But he would go into libraries and he would ask where the books are on torture and violence, basically. And for his upbringing and for him being the man that he is, it is truly insane, all the stuff he's done. And for those who don't know, he died in 2013 of cancer. Such an odd way to die for a serial killer. Normally you would think that, oh, they'd put him in some sort of high-end prison where, you know, somewhat of a child molester or somewhat of a very big-time criminal would kill him. But he died slow, and he died basically a death that wasn't warranted for him. He should have gotten more after all the stuff he's done to other people, and he's just crazy. He is just so crazy. That is an understatement, and it's a good show. I recommend watching it, but don't watch it alone, and don't watch it at night because it is sure scary. That is definitely it for me, guys. It is cold. I'm going to get out of this cold. Like and subscribe. Comment on what your take is on the Night Stalker. If you thought it was worthy of a #1 spot on Netflix's top 10, please do that. And most of all, keep it 100. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let's get back to living life, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy, Hollywood AJ. I'm out.